Nostalgia is a weapon. When your history is someone else's nightmare. Think about that. When a person demands to go back to a time of greatness, they are admitting something. They are admitting that the present doesn't belong to them anymore. Not in the way they want it to. Hello, beautiful people. From Africa to across the ocean. Welcome home. Today, I need you to listen closely, because we need to talk about a slogan that has set the world on fire. For words, red hats, crowds screaming, "Make America Great Again." On the surface, it looks like politics. It looks like a catchy phrase for a campaign. But if you look deeper, if you look with the eyes of history, you realize it's not a slogan. It's a confession. Let's be honest with each other. When you hear "Make America Great Again," there is a quiet part they don't say out loud. There is a ghost haunting that sentence. The question isn't when was it great. The real question, the uncomfortable question, is great for who? Because for black people, for indigenous people, for the people whose backs were used as the foundation for this empire, there was never a golden age. There were only different eras of survival. Let's really look at it. Was it great during slavery? Was it great when we were property? When a man could be sold away from his wife? When a child could be ripped from their mother's arms? That was great for the cotton market. That was great for the economy. But for us, that was hell. Was it great during Jim Crow? When you could be lynched for looking a man in the eye? When you could fight in a world war, bleed for a flag, and come home to a country that would let you walk through the front door of a diner? So when they say again, when they say they want to go back, they aren't talking about justice. My granddaddy told me about walking down the street back in the Jim Crow days. He said you had to learn a different kind of walk, a different way of breathing. You'd see a white person coming, and you'd step off the sidewalk into the dirt, eyes down. It wasn't about law. It was about survival. He said the hardest part wasn't the dirt on his shoes, but the feeling that the very ground he was born on didn't belong to him. One day, he was just a boy, and he forgot. He looked a white man in the eye. He didn't say a word, just forgot to look away. That look earned him a slap that knocked him clean off his feet. He said he never forgot again. He learned that his place was not on the pavement, but in the dust. That was the first lesson of the empire, he told me. You learn your place. They aren't talking about freedom. They are talking about comfort. They are talking about a time when whiteness was the only thing that mattered. I want you to understand the psychology here. Don't get angry, just observe. Make America Great Again isn't about strength. If you are strong, you don't have to announce it on a hat. The sun doesn't have to tell you it's bright, it just shines. No, this slogan comes from fear. It comes from grief. They are grieving a world that is disappearing. They are looking at the demographics. They see the browning of America. They see the rise of Africa. They see the global South standing up. And they are terrified. For centuries, to be white in the West meant you were the main character of history. Everyone else, we were just background noise. We were labor. We were resources. But we were never the story. Now, the story is changing. And when you are used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. When you are used to being the only voice in the room, hearing someone else speak feels like you're being silenced. That is what you are seeing. It's not just politics, it's a panic attack. Now, people will tell you, no, brother, you've got it wrong. It's about the economy. It's about jobs. It's about the 1950s. Okay, let's talk about the 1950s. Let's talk about that greatness. The 1950s was a boom time. Yes, white picket fences. One job could feed a whole family. But why? Because the rest of the world was in ashes. Europe was destroyed by war. Asia was rebuilding. Africa was still under the boot of colonialism. America had no competition. They were the only game in town. But here is the other side of that coin. While they were building the suburbs, they were redlining us into the ghettos. While they were getting interest loans from the government, my mother's family tried to buy a house in the 50s. They had the money, saved up from years of my grandfather working 2 jobs and my grandmother taking in laundry. They found a small place, a perfect little house with a yard for the kids. But when the real estate agent saw them, his smile just froze. Suddenly, the house was no longer available. They tried another neighborhood and another. It was always the same story, the same closed doors. They showed us the maps later, the ones with the red lines drawn around our neighborhoods, marking us as hazardous. We weren't a family looking for a home. We were a risk, a blight. We ended up in a cramped apartment, the dream of a yard turning to concrete dust. They weren't just denied a house, they were denied a piece of the American dream, locked out by a line on a map. We were being denied access to the very wealth we helped create. So the greatness of the 1950s was an exclusive club, and the bouncer at the door was racism. You cannot bring that economy back, because you cannot destroy the rest of the world again. China is rising. Africa is waking up. You cannot turn back the clock unless you break the clock. I want to speak to my family in Kenya right now, to my family in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa, and to the Caribbean. Do not think this is just an American story. This is your story too. This nostalgia. This make it great again mindset. This is the same spirit as colonialism. It is what they call imperial nostalgia. You see it in the UK with Brexit. Make Britain great again. Great like when? When they were looting Benin. When they were starving India. It is the same sickness. The West is realizing it can no longer just walk into our lands and take what it wants. They can't just take the gold, the cobalt, the oil, without us asking for a fair price. And that makes them angry. A dying empire is a dangerous thing. When the master loses control of the house, he starts locking the doors. That is what MAGA is. It's the sound of the locks clicking shut. And for Black Americans, this is the most painful part. We are the ones who built the house. We are the ones who tilled the soil. We are the ones who fought for the Constitution to actually mean something. We saved this country from itself, over and over again. Just a few years ago, I was in a meeting, the only black man in the room. I was presenting a project I'd poured my heart into. It was going well. People were nodding, taking notes. Then, during the Q&A, a senior executive, one of the guys with the red "Make America Great Again" hat often on his desk, leaned back and said, "That's all very articulate, surprising." The room went quiet. Articulate? It wasn't a compliment. It was a judgment. A statement that my excellence was an anomaly, an exception to what he expected. In that one word, he told me I didn't belong in that room, that my success was a surprise party I hadn't been invited to. The slogan wasn't about greatness for everyone. It was a quiet reminder, just like stepping off the sidewalk, that for some of us, our place is still being questioned, and that grief, it's a living thing. And yet, the moment we ask for our share, the moment we stand up, the slogan comes back. Make America Great Again. Translation, put them back in their place. Translation, shut up and be grateful. It is a warning shot. They are telling us that they would rather burn the house down than share the keys. So, what do we do with this? Do we get depressed? Do we argue? Do we try to explain our humanity to people who refuse to see it? No, we stop looking for validation in their history books. We stop asking, when was it great? And we start asking, how do we build our own? We don't need to go back. Listen to me closely. There is nothing back there for us. The past is a crime scene. We are the people of the future. We are the people of the sun. Our greatness isn't in the past. It's waiting for us to create it. It's in our unity. It's in our economic independence. It's in connecting the struggle in Detroit to the struggle in Nairobi. Let them have their red hats. Let them have their slogans. Let them grieve the loss of their empire. We have work to do. We have a world to build. A world where greatness doesn't mean standing on someone else's neck. Rise up, stay conscious, and never, ever let them tell you who you are. I love you, I value you. Peace.